Welcome back. We'll continue our discussion on files. So in this, we'll discuss programming on files. So actually it is continuation of what we have discussed in the last session only. Programming on files. Programming on files. We'll discuss one simple program. We'll discuss one simple program only. And the other programs we'll discuss as part of the programming sessions. So we discussed that if you want to use files, first you have to open the file. After using the file, you have to close the file. Open it, use it, and then close it. The file should be open for reading, writing, updating, and deleting. So these are the operations which you perform. Read, write, update. Update that includes appending. And deleting. So you will be reading the content from the file. You may write the content to the file. You may modify the content here and there, or you can add the content at the end, that is called as append. You can also delete the file, delete the content of the file, and also you can delete the file also. So file has to be closed after performing the required operations. So the first step, okay, the first step is opening a file. But before you open a file, actually you have to create what is called as buffer area. A buffer area has to be created. Whereas buffer is a temporary storage on RAM. Buffer is a temporary storage on RAM where the contents of the file are placed on operator. So it is a temporary storage on RAM. Remember, on RAM, not on hard disk. It's a temporary storage on RAM where the contents of the file are placed and operated. So buffer area can be created like this: file star some variable name. So PTVAR. So here it is file pointer. It becomes the file pointer. Where file indicates the creation of the buffer area, and PTVR is a pointer variable that points to a buffer area. The required header file is stdio.h. So here is how you have to use the fopen. Fopen is used to open a file. PTVR, in simple terms, it is fopen, file name, file mode. Where file name is the valid identifier, similar to the variable, function, etc. It's a valid identifier supported by the operating system, and file mode according to the language also. And file mode indicates the purpose for which file is opened. We discussed that we can read the content from the file, write the content, update the content, and also delete. So based on it, different modes are defined. Read mode, write mode, and then append mode. Read mode, write mode, and append mode. So fopen function returns a pointer to the beginning of the buffer area associated with the file. A null is returned if the file cannot be opened, and it can be closed using this fclose. These are the modes. File name is valid identifier. The second parameter is file mode. Now what are the file modes? These are the modes for test file. We'll discuss the similar modes for binary file also. These are the modes for test file. So if you at that point, at the mode point, that means at this point, if you write within the double quotes or, that means you are opening the file for reading only. Next is W. If you write, you are opening a file for writing only. But remember, whenever you are opening a file for writing only, if a file with that name, already exists, it will be destroyed. And a new file is created in its place. So be careful. So suppose if you have any file with important data, don't accidentally try to open a file immediately in the write mode unless you have any valid reason to do so, because the original file is lost. So append, open an existing file for appending. Appending means adding at the end of the file. That is, after the existing content, new content will be added. New file will be created. The file with the specified file name does not exist. With the specified file name does not exist. The specified file name does not exist. New file will be created. If the file already exists, then that file is used. Remember, that file will not be destroyed. If the file already exists, that will be used. If the file doesn't exist, then new file is created. So the other three modes, R plus, open an existing file for both reading and writing. For both reading and writing. W plus, open a new file for both reading and writing, but if a file with a specified file name already exists, it will be destroyed. So if you want to preserve the original file, then you go with R plus, even if you want to do reading and writing both, R plus. But you are not bothered about the original file, then you go with W plus. That means new file is created. New file is created, you can read and write it. Definitely you write something and then read something from the same file. So that means whatever you are writing, you will be able to read. You will be able to read. A plus is for open an existing file for both reading and appending. Reading and appending. A new file will be created with the specified file name if the specified file name does not exist. If the file with the specified file name does not exist, then in that case new file is created. So these are the modes. These are the modes. Similar is the case with the binary file. To indicate that the file is binary, you can see they are terminated with B. They are terminated with B. You can use capital or small letters. It's better you restrict yourself to small letters only. It is W and A also. So opens a binary file in read mode. In this case, write mode, append mode, and then for reading and writing. So same rules apply. In the case of this one, if the file, and also in the case of this one, if the file already exists, it is overwritten. It is overwritten. So be careful. So similar logic only, but these are in case of binary files, and you can see the difference is B. Only difference is B, indicating it is binary. So one simple example. So hash include stdio.h main, and then some integer I, which is required local variable, then file star fp, that is the difference. So you are creating a file pointer buffer area, file star fp. So fp equal to fopen. So because fopen opens the file and returns the file pointer, that has to be stored somewhere. That's why on the left hand side you have a variable called as fp, which is of type file. So fp equal to fopen, the file name. Here we are calling it as output.dat, and then write mode. W stands for write mode. So we are writing the digits from 0 to 9. I equal to 0 to 9. You are writing the digits. After writing the digits, you are closing it. F printf, you can see format specifier is also used. So first initially we are writing. Now after writing through some other program also, or maybe in the same program also you can write, but in the same program you can write it in the form of functions. Don't use main two times. So let us assume in a different file. So again file star fp, and then get as file name. That means what is the file from which you want to actually read. So that here you can directly specify that output dot dat. You can specify output dat, but only to indicate that you can read the file also. I have used this getters. So the fp equal to fopen or equal to null. Null means you cannot open the file doesn't exist. In that case, you generate some error message. Or otherwise, you can scanf. Using fscanf, read it. So, how long you are going to read? While you don't reach the end of file. That is indicated by one built-in function called as fpof. That indicates end of the file. So, while not end of the file, print the data that is read. Initially we have read here, print the data that is you have read, and then again scanf. Here it should be ampersand. So again scanf. So repeatedly do it while you don't reach the end of the file. So that is, after that means the else part also closes. You can close the file and exit. This is one simple program. Here it should be ampersand I. So this is one simple program. We'll discuss more programs in the programming part. So best of luck. So if you do large programs, definitely we'll be making use of files. But maybe little complex for the beginner using files. You need some practice. So there will be certain issues. Everything cannot be discussed in theory. Sometimes you depends on the operating system. It depends on the C version. There will be some minor changes that we have to identify and then do the programming. So best of luck. Thank you.